Crafty Kate and I run a small crochet business. On this channel we talk all things yarn and crochet. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to a really fun video where I'm going to go over 8 different patterns that I made to fit in the little viral car seat air vent clips that go in your car. I made a bunch of plushies to fit in those. I'm really excited to share with you. Before we jump into that, I do want to talk about some new compression gloves that I was sent that I love. So let's do that real quick and then we'll jump into the patterns. So here are the new gloves. WHCOOL sent me these to try out and I have been using them for about a week. And I'm excited to tell you how I like them. So I got the size medium. They have a fantastic size chart where you measure this part of your hand and then you can pick which size. So I got the medium, like I said, and they fit perfect. And they are so nice and thin and lightweight. The seams don't bother you from the inside. I've tried some other ones and they were really thick and bulky and just not fun to use in general. So there's my left hand. Put it on my right hand. And your fingers are all still exposed, so you can use your phone and feel the yarn if you're using it to crochet. But like I said, look how tight and thin. They're not super tight, but like how closely they fit your hands. And they're very nice and flexible, so you have all your range of motion. They have a little bit of grippy right here for holding on to things so you're not dropping stuff. That didn't affect crocheting though. You can still weave the yarn through. It's really soft material. So like I said, I've been trying these out for about a week. I don't use the left hand much because I don't have much pain in my left hand, but my right hand, as you guys know, I do have quite a bit of pain, especially in my thumb. So this has been fantastic. It really supports all of your joints while you're working. So I love them so far. And then the other thing, I know a lot of people don't like their fingers covered while they're crocheting, which is true for me too. So what I've been doing most is wearing the right hand one to bed, and then in the morning my hand feels nice and ready for the day. So that's how I've been using mine. So if you don't like crocheting with it on, you can wear it other times when you're not crocheting, if that makes sense. So I love it and I'm going to keep using it. So thank you so much WHCOOL for sending these, and I will have them linked down in the description if you're interested in trying them out. There will also be a coupon code down there, so go check that out if you're interested. I absolutely love how thin they are. They are great, and they even give you a little bit of wrist support, which is fantastic for us crocheters. So again, thank you so much, and go check that out if you're interested. Okay, so now we will jump into the patterns that I made for the little car seats. I did this video a little bit different. I didn't do vlog style where I recorded as I made everything because that makes making things take longer, and we have officially entered the chaos of trying to sell our house. So things are a little crazy over here, very busy. Things are probably looking a little different in the background. We're having a garage sale, so lots of stuff is happening, and we're going to be busy for the rest of the summer. So this video, I just made all the plushies, and now I'm going to share my notes from the plushies and all that fun stuff. So hopefully that's okay with you guys. I know you like the vlog style, but I just couldn't fit it in this week and get it all done. So that's where we're at. So the little car seats are just this. They have a little clip that, I don't know if I have one that has one in it right now. No, so they have a little clip that goes here that will clip into the air vent in your car. So this can be in your car with a little, they each come with a little buckle that goes around there to hold your little plushie in. So it can be a little car seat, or a lot of them come with this little stand that you can put in the bottom. And then this can sit on your desk and look like a little office chair sitting on your desk with your little plushie sitting in it. So I bought a whole bunch of these for a PalmStreet Live. I'm having a PalmStreet Live on Friday, so the day after this video comes out, and I'm going to have all of these guys available. So that was the goal, to get all of this done before Friday. So I bought a whole bunch of seats. We have some fuzzy ones, a little sneak peek of one of the plushies. Some have fur. Some of them don't have this little stand, and they have more of like a seatbelt looking buckle inside. I will link in my Amazon store some seats. It's hard to send you guys to the exact ones I got because the supply on Amazon seems to go up and down a lot. So ones that I originally bought are no longer available, and then other ones are now available. So I will link some down in my Amazon shop. But also if you just search doll car seat on Amazon, you will find all the options. So that's the best way to do it, best way to find them. So I think that's all I have to say about the little car seats. So we'll jump into the plushies. I have most of them in their car seats right now, so I'll just show you them that way. So we'll start with my favorite one and my first one that I made. So, ooh, dropped the bottom. So this one is the baby ostrich from Oak and Marlowe. She has several what she calls Fable babies, and I absolutely fell in love with the style and this pattern. So you'll see several Fable babies in this mashup. So this was the first one I made. This is, I think it's Ellie the ostrich, the baby. She also has a full-size version. So I did all the babies, Fable babies. So this is the little ostrich. I used fur for the wings and the little neck here. She has that as an option in the pattern. We'll get him out of here. He's also got a little tail on the back. So the notes on this guy, let's see. So I used the fur, and then this is Premier Basic Chenille, and I used a 6mm hook, 14mm eyes, and I did do the little eye details. And then most of her Fable babies, you are supposed to sew the wings or the arms on, and I crocheted them all in. And I did that in round 7. So just as you're doing the decreases up here, just get the arms in where they line up. It will be different for everyone, but I put them in round 7, and then it ends up being no sew. This one does at least. You surface crochet on the little beak. The tail is also surface crocheted on. You make the legs and then build the body up off of the legs. And you can see how tiny they are, so they're very quick. Just a tiny bit of stuffing in the belly and then the head. So I absolutely fell in love with these patterns, like I said. So there is that little guy. Definitely my favorite. I love the fur details. So that's the first one. And then I'll just go the order I made them, because I kind of changed my mind as I went based on how I liked a pattern and stuff like that. So the next one I made was this adorable frog. This is the frog pattern from the Crafty Jersey. I was so excited to try this guy. He is a chunk. You can see he takes up the entire chair, but he fits and he is so cute. So this one I also used Premier Basic Chenille 6mm hook, 14mm eyes. I added the little optional tongue. So cute. And then for the legs, she has a bobble option or a plain option. I did the bobbles to give him little toes, give him a little extra detail. And then I did change the back legs so that he would sit in the chair. So as I made the plushie, I kept sticking him in the chair to make sure he would fit. And the legs, I think, were too far apart, so he would have been doing the splits kind of in the chair, if that makes sense. So I moved the back legs a little bit and put 3 stitches between here so that he would sit nicely in the chair. But other than that, I didn't change anything. He turned out absolutely adorable. This one is no sew. You make the legs first and then crochet them in as you go. The head is built off the body. Actually, I might have lied. Hold on. Yes, okay, so I had that right. You do just crochet the head up off the body. You don't sew this one on. So this one is no sew. I didn't time myself on any of these because it was my first time making them and learning new pattern designers and all that stuff. So I don't have times on any of them. They all took me probably around an hour, maybe a little bit more. So they're small makes, but they are quite detailed. So a little bit of time in them, but so cute. So there's the little frog. So after I made this one, because he was so chunky, I wanted a second frog, but I didn't want to make the same frog. So I found another pattern that I wanted to try. This one was free on Instagram, and if I didn't mention it already, I will have all of the patterns linked down in the description so you can find them. So this, I believe, is the only free pattern that I did, but look how cute he is. So this one is a free pattern on Instagram by Hitoboru. Not sure how to say it, but free on Instagram. And this one I ended up making in Parfait Chunky. It's the only one that I made in a smaller yarn because I wanted to make sure he would fit. And based on the stitch counts in the head, I knew he was going to have a big head. So I made this one in Parfait Chunky with a 4.5mm hook. And then these are 14mm eyes. This one is low sew, I believe. I think you sew the eyes on the head and then the head to the body, so not too bad. And then a couple notes I had for this one. The legs, all 4 legs have several rounds of 4 single crochets in a round. So if you hate doing that, maybe stop at 5 and then just make it all the way up, if that makes sense. But I think his little teeny tiny arms and legs are really cute, and I love how they dangle out of the chair. He's got that little tiny body in there. So cute. And then the only other thing I changed about this pattern is, well, 2 things. They start the magic ring with 12 single crochets in a magic ring. I hate doing that, especially with Parfait Chunky. I cannot get that to close. I hate using worsted weight yarn to make a magic ring. So I just started with 6, increased to 12, and then went from there, and he turned out just fine. So no big deal there, but just made it a little easier on myself. And then there was some really cool shaping in the head under these eyes, so you knew exactly where to put the eyes, which I thought was really cool. And he just turned out really neat. And then the other thing I changed was, a lot like the other frog, his legs were a little bit too far apart, so I put 2 stitches between his legs so that he would sit in the chair nicely. But he turned out absolutely adorable, and I love him. So that is our second little frog. Okay, so the next one was a pattern pack that I bought. It's called the Beaky Babies from Crochet by Beck. So it's a whole pattern pack of different birds, and they are supposed to be snugglers, but I did stuff these lightly even though it is half double crochet. I have tight tension, so it's not too big of a deal, and these are made more for adults to put in their car, so I'm not too worried about a little kid having this and pulling the stuffing out. So I made the flamingo version of the Beaky Babies, and I actually made 2 of them because I couldn't decide which color I wanted to make. So I used both color combinations that I came up with and made 2 different ones. So this is the first one I made. This is Premier Basic Chenille in the Peach and Shell, I believe they're called. So that's the first little cutie. I used a 6mm hook like always for Premier Basic Chenille. This one has 12mm eyes. On this first one, I accidentally put duck legs on the flamingo. So like I said, it's a whole pattern pack with a whole bunch of different birds, and you really have to scroll through the pattern to see all the different options and see what you're doing. So I just scrolled down to the first leg option and put it on, and then as I was scrolling down after I finished, it was like, oh, there's more options, dang it. So I did not put the flamingo legs on this one. He has cute little duck legs, but so cute, so simple. Got like a little butt that sticks out back here, and like I said, they're supposed to be snugglers, so I just lightly stuffed it so that it will sit in the chair and not be like deflated or whatever. So that's why I stuffed them. And then this one I wrote, I had to add an extra stitch between the wings. For some reason on some of these patterns things were not lining up where I couldn't make them centered, so I had to add a stitch, not add a stitch, but just go 1 stitch over. So there's supposed to be 2 stitches between the wings, and I did 3 so that it's centered. So there's the first one I made, and then the second one, I think I like these colors better. Hot pink and then the light pink. Premier Basic Chenille again, all the same stuff, 12mm eyes. And then as you can see, these are the flamingo legs versus the little duck feet over here. So a little bit longer legs, but so cute. I love both colors, but I do like this hot pink one. And he sits in the chair nicely with his little legs sticking out. So that's the little flamingo. This is where I changed my course a little bit. I was planning on making several versions of this Beaky Baby pattern, and don't get me wrong, I love this pattern. It is no sew for everything, and they are so cute, and I will make more of them for sure. But as far as the animals fitting in the chairs, I really liked the way the Fable babies sat and how tiny their little bodies were. They worked up a little bit quicker, so I switched from making all of the Crochet by Beck patterns to wanting to make more of the Fable babies. So after I made the next two, I made more Fable babies. So we'll go over the next two real quick. They are both by Jenny Loopy Doo. So these guys fit really well, but they were very detailed and a little bit bigger as well. So the first one I made was this little monkey. Whoops. This is Maisie the Monkey from Jenny Loopy Doo. And this one I used Premier Basics Chenille 6mm hook. These are 12mm eyes. And then I did do the face shaping on this one to sink in the eyes a little bit. There's also some nostrils that you embroider on. You can't really see them, but it does shape the face a little bit. So definitely necessary to do that. I love the way the little ears turned out. And then this one is mostly no sew, but you do sew the head to the body. So you surface crochet on the ears, crochet the legs and arms in as you go. You do tack the legs in a little bit so they're not sticking straight out. He's got a cute little tail back there. But yeah, just the perfect size for these chairs. Really, really cute. He's got little thumbs on all of his hands and feet. So cute. Absolutely love this little guy. And I think he's perfect. So that is that one. Oh, this is another one. The arms have rounds of 4 single crochet in the round. So again, if you hate that, just adjust it and do 5 or whatever you're comfortable with. But I think it makes them tiny and cute, so I don't mind doing that. And again, this one is supposed to be a snuggler as well, but I lightly stuffed the body, even though it's half double crochets. But you can see how tight my stitches are. There's no gaps or anything. So lightly stuffed and ready to go in his car seat. Okay, and then the next one is also a Jenny Loopy Doo pattern. This one is Ellie the Elephant. And I made her little bow. Thought that was so cute. So very similar to the last one. You just sew on the head to the body. Everything else is crocheted as you go or surface crocheted. You surface crochet the ears. But yeah, I absolutely love the way she did her toes. I had never done anything like that before. Very cool to make them separated and stand out and really cute. So love the toe detail. Premier Basics Chenille 6mm hook, 12mm eyes. This one I did add like the little eye details, give her a sweet look. And yeah, I didn't change anything about this pattern. You do tack the legs just like the monkey, and I tacked them kind of up in a sitting position so that she would sit in the seat a little bit better. But absolutely adorable. Takes a little bit of time with all the little details, but she is so worth it. So that is our other Jenny Loopy Doo pattern, and like I said, I did love these. They're a perfect size. I just was trying not to buy a million patterns. I have so many ideas for these little chairs. So I started with just 2, but I absolutely recommend her patterns. They are fantastic. So that is that. And then, like I was saying earlier, the last 2 are Fable babies. I love the Fable baby patterns. I ended up buying the ostrich, the dog, and then the chicken and friends pack. So got quite a few different animals that I could make. So the next one that I made was from the Baby Millie Chicken and Friends pack. So it was a bunch of different birds, mostly chickens and ducks. So I made the mallard duck version. I think I did a sneak peek of this one at the beginning. So here he is. So cute. So this one was very similar to the ostrich. The beak is a little bit different, but the feet are very similar. The wings and everything. So And then she has options for color changes and all that stuff to make it a solid duck or a mallard duck. I did mine a little bit different. She does like the top part here in one color of brown and then like a lighter brown down here. So I did skip that. I just made the whole thing brown just because I didn't have two browns that matched well for a duck. So I just did one brown, but as you can see, he has 5 different colors. He has green, yellow, white, tan, and orange, but so cute. Okay, something I noticed when I made the ostrich that I also noticed when I made this guy, the color change for some reason ends up here on the front, which I didn't want. I was able to disguise it on the ostrich just because that's fur and it kind of covers up where it was. But with the duck, you wouldn't be able to disguise it because it's regular yarn. So before I did the color change for the white, I just added 2 stitches so that I was back here. So you can see back there where I changed. So to me that made more sense. I didn't run into that with the dog for some reason. It doesn't have color changes, but when I was on that round, I was at the back of the body for some reason. So she must have it a little bit different based on the animal. But yeah, so I just added 2 stitches to end up at the back, and then I did my color changes so that it ended up all even. Let's see. So this one is all Premier Basic Chenille 6mm hook, 14mm eyes, and I crocheted the wings into round 7 just like I did the ostrich to make it no-sew. So the pattern is not written no-sew, but you can make it no-sew. So there's that. He's adorable. And I definitely want to make the chicken. She has like a little rooster version that is definitely on my list. He is very cute. So another Fable baby. And then the last one I made, I just finished up a little bit ago. So this is the baby Marley dog from Oak and Marlow. And this one I actually used Elise Veludo. I did really well using Premier Basic Chenille for most of these to get rid of some of my stash, but this one I really wanted to do in this kind of golden retriever color, and I am out of that in Premier Basic Chenille. So this one is Elise Veludo, 6mm hook again, 14mm eyes. This one is not no-sew. I did crochet the arms in just like I did everything else. She has it written that you sew them on, so that's one change, and then you do sew the ears on, which I don't think there would be really a way. You might be able to do it, but I didn't mess with it. I just sewed them on. So really, really cute. I made his little vest. So cute. Here, I'll get him out so you can see the back of it. The vest is really, really cute. So here he is. There's the back. Cute little vest. He is ready to go on his adventures. So as far as things I changed for this one, I don't think I changed anything. Actually, I don't have anything written down, but I did want to mention that the face shaping is very important. Before you shape the face, he doesn't really have a nose here, like these little cheeks. He's just a round blob and he looks really goofy. I wish I had shown you guys that before I did the face shaping because it was pretty funny. But yeah, so definitely shape the face, do the little nose thing here. I embroidered his little nose, and then you also do a little pulling the eyes together, so makes him look more like a dog instead of just a little round goofy thing. But so cute and so soft with Elise Veludo. He is perfect and I love him. So that is the last one that I have for you guys. Again, don't forget I have the PalmStreet on Friday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will have all of these guys available and all the little car seats, all that fun stuff. All the patterns down in the description if you're interested. For an emoji down in the comments for making it all the way to the end of the video, let's do your favorite make from this video. So a frog, duck, monkey, elephant, dog, flamingo. I don't know if there's an ostrich, but an ostrich. Let me know what your favorite was down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!